Hey there! If you are looking for a deep dive on the best forms of exercise for prediabetes, how much exercise you need, and why exercise is so essential to preventing diabetes, especially if you already have prediabetes, you're in the right place. Exercise can be really intimidating if you haven't been very active throughout your life, or maybe you are already active, but you're unsure if all of your hard work and sweat is actually helping you to meet your goals in the most efficient way. So let's get started on talking about what is the best way to go about creating an exercise goal and choosing the right plan to actually improve your prediabetes. So my name is Tegan Bissell and I am a registered dietitian nutritionist. I specialize in prediabetes nutrition in my online virtual private practice. As a dietitian with a specialty and certification in diabetes, I've seen so many clients with diabetes and prediabetes, and I've seen what works and what doesn't when it comes to exercise for weight loss and lowering blood sugars. I've seen how frustrating it is to put in hard work at the gym with week after week without seeing the results that you really want. I've also seen some of the frequent mistakes people make with exercise that can be easily avoided. And as a diabetes specialist, I want to let you in on what I have observed over the years about the best exercise for prediabetes so you can stop wasting time and energy on pointless physical activity that could even worsen your health issues or cause injury. So we're going to go over why is exercise so important for prediabetes, the best types of exercise, and how to actually make that exercise routine stick. So why is exercise so important? Let's first talk about how exercise actually affects things like insulin resistance, our blood sugar levels, and our weight. So exercise is so important in preventing diabetes, especially if you have diabetes in your family or if you already have rising labs like blood sugars, A1Cs, triglycerides, which is a type of cholesterol, or insulin levels. And not making exercise a part of your health plan is a really common pitfall with many people. And even with all the dieting in the world, you can still progress into type 2 diabetes, unfortunately. So we know that exercise does have a direct effect on lowering our blood sugars and boosting both our physical and mental health. And the way that this works is every time you raise your heart rate and utilize your muscles, your body is burning the most accessible fuel it has access to, glucose. This is sugar, which is in our bloodstream. Now, if you test your sugars immediately after exercise, you would probably see that your blood sugar level is significantly lower compared to before you started exercising. Once muscles burn up the majority of sugar in your bloodstream, they then turn to fat for their next fuel source, stimulating weight loss. Weight loss also further reduces insulin resistance, putting you and diabetes at an even further distance from each other. That other main benefit is reversing insulin resistance. Insulin is a hormone which tells our cells to take up sugar from the bloodstream and use it for energy. If you have prediabetes, you likely have insulin resistance, which means in order to manage blood sugar levels, your body has to pump out higher amounts of insulin to get the job done. Eventually, the excess sugar in the bloodstream can be stored up as fat and contribute to weight gain. Consistent exercise, on the other hand, boosts the action of your insulin and makes it stronger and makes it work like it should, creating an ongoing boost of blood sugar control, even hours and days beyond the exercise. And then finally, exercise burns calories. Of course, increasing our calorie burn will assist with our weight loss goals. And we've seen that specifically a 5 to 7% body weight loss has been shown to reduce the risk of getting diabetes by 50%. This is huge if you already have prediabetes and you're wanting to prevent it from progressing into diabetes. So, unfortunately, only 1 in 5 adults in America gets the recommended amount of exercise to maintain our health. And what this recommendation is 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic physical activity or 75 minutes of vigorous intensity physical activity. So the USDA releases the physical activity guidelines for Americans. This is very similar to the dietary guidelines for food to help direct health professionals, policymakers, and Americans in what the best practices are for exercise. So we utilize these recommendations along with up-to-date research and a little trial and error to find out what gives us the top results for long-term health and blood sugar control. So we know that 150 minutes of moderate intensity exercise is key. So what does moderate intensity mean? Basically, your breathing should be elevated above normal and your heart rate should be at least 70% of your max. To calculate your max, simply subtract your age from 220. And then to find 70% of that, you would multiply that by 0.7. If you're able to hold a whole entire conversation or even sing while you're exercising, you'll want to bump it up a notch. This is not going to be quite moderate intensity. Now, the other most important thing is to be consistent. With that goal of 150 minutes a week, you can break it up. This could look like 30 minutes for 5 days a week, or get it all done in 1 hour increments for only 3 days a week. Depending on your daily schedule, consider how you can best fit this into your week. HIIT exercises are really common and fit right into our goals here of that moderate intensity exercise. This could be aerobics, interval jogging. These things are really great for reaching that intensity that's needed to see the positive effects on our blood sugars and weight reduction. Now, variety is also key. Our bodies can get used to the same exercise and it becomes less intense over time, causing that wonderful benefit on the insulin resistance and blood sugar to lessen. So make sure to mix up the type of exercise that you're doing every now and then, and that will help you to keep reaping the benefits and to keep it interesting to us as well. So that way we're not getting bored. Now, if you're new to exercise or just starting out with a new routine and this seems a little overwhelming, don't be discouraged. A simple walking plan would still give you the positive results as long as your heart rate is being raised throughout the majority of the walk. Just put on some AirPods with a great playlist, find a friend who's also been wanting to get healthy, and get moving. Again, the key is to make sure your heart rate is elevated and your exercise is intense enough. One of my favorite exercises is bar and yoga workouts. I put on a 20 to 30 minute video on my smart TV right onto YouTube, and it's taught by one of my favorite upbeat instructors. Move the coffee table out of the way and start sweating. I also make sure that when I get home from work, I immediately change into workout clothes because I know once I start relaxing, it's going to be much harder to make that workout happen. And then sometimes I will vary my workout to keep it interesting by switching it up. I'll take my dog for a long, vigorous hike. I'll plan in a weekend bike ride or rent a kayak and get out on the water with some friends for some physical activity and stress relief. Here are some additional ideas that you can try. It could be playing a fun game of frisbee, going to the basketball court, getting out on the water, golfing, or even simply dancing to some music right in your house. Of course, creating an exercise routine is sometimes easier said than done. So, how do we apply this information into our lives and actually make it stick? Now, if you're not a fan of the gym, there's so many other options to find something else enjoyable. Consider some of those ideas that were listed on the last slide, like water aerobics, biking, kayaking, swimming, tennis, pickleball, frisbee, Zumba, Pilates, weightlifting. And again, YouTube is a fantastic resource for an endless variety of exercise videos that can be done right from the comfort of your home. Finding something that you enjoy or at least tolerate is part of the key of making the exercise stick. The other solution is don't wait for your motivation. Set yourself up so you can't not do it. Write down exercise on your calendar, bring your exercise clothes to work with you, and then mark it down on your calendar once you're done. Make that first move to get started, even if you don't really feel like it. Chances are you're going to be glad you did, and you're going to feel so vibrant and accomplished afterwards. Now, keep in mind, exercise is important, but it's only one piece of the puzzle when it comes to preventing diabetes. Now that you know the what, when, why, and how of best exercise for prediabetes, it's time to get started. And if you're wanting more help with getting on a plan to reverse your prediabetes, you can always schedule a one-on-one virtual appointment with me where we can dive into your habits and see what's holding you back and create a realistic goal plan that you will actually follow through on. Head to my website listed here for more information. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more great nutrition tips. Drop me a comment below on what your plan is to start a new exercise routine. You can also write your goal out, post it in the comments so I can see for a little bit more accountability if you need. Thanks.